Thank you for checking out the time tracking database by WaterWebWorks. It's free to use as a template for your own application. This tool is provided as is, along with these videos with information on setup, maintenance, management, and the user experience. If you'd like assistance customizing it for your use, our rates are posted on our TeamDesk expert listing, and you can contact us there. With WaterWebWorks, and this is a quick video on the user portion of the time tracking by WaterWebWorks. So as a user, and that means a person being in the default role, I would come in here starting on the dashboard, and I have a little tile view here and a display here that shows the other people who work in our company. So right now it doesn't show any data for either one of us, really. Everything's kind of zero, but if I want to go ahead and sign in, like I'm just getting to work today, and I click the sign in button, and then it shows, it starts my time and also shows that I'm in the office, and then it updates this to show my start time as being 2:09 p.m. and that I'm in the office. If I were to, come up on lunchtime and everything, I'm going to sign out to lunch, you can just click sign out to lunch. Then look, it changes my display that the others can see too, that shows that I am out to lunch, and my expected return time is 3:09. We put in an hour for default lunchtime, but that can be set to whatever you want it. If you just want it half hour, or if you wanted to even have breaks in there that are by default 10 or 15 minutes or something like that. It handles this pretty well. Then you have the button to sign in from lunch. Despite the time that you were expected to return, you can sign in whenever you want. If I were signing out for some other reason, something, who knows, maybe I'm gonna just run down to the office supply store, and so I say I'm going to be back in 20 minutes, running to the office supply store. Okay, hit save, and then it updates this to show that I am, my type is other, and my expected return time, and that I'm running to the office supply store, if I had a note in there. When I come back, I just sign in from other, and bam, back into the office. You can also change your in-office status. It sets you back to in-office anytime you sign back in or anything by default, but there's other statuses as well, like if you were working and really focusing on something, and you want to be able to set it so that people only interrupt you for emergencies, and you can add to those types, whatever type list items you want to put in there. So this would show people that I'm in the office, but for emergencies only, or something like that. And then when I'm all done for the day, go ahead and click sign out for the day, and blanks it out. Everything's done. At this point, you see I also have another button, and this is called start vacation. It could be called start time away from office, or time off, or anything else. I think we might change it to start time off, just so it can be a little bit more appropriate, and not, because not all time off is vacation, unfortunately. And you can put your, your start time that you're taking off or whatever, and your expected return. You can put the times in. The times aren't really necessary for anything. This is just for the display. This is not like time that's been approved or anything like that. This is just really a courtesy listing for that display that shows everybody else in the office where you're at, and that you're going to be, off for whatever. Home sick. If you were signing, if you were at home and you weren't going to make it in, you could mark in that you were homesick, or you could mark in that you are off for surgery, or off for none business. Whatever you whatever you want your people to put in there. Again, these can be changed to say whatever type you want. It doesn't have to be vacation. It could just say away from the office. And then stopping it again just clears everything. The next tab I'm going to show you, I'm going to jump over pay sheets. I'll get to that in a minute, but right now we're going to go ahead and talk about times. So if I click on this tab, I can see all of my times. I cannot see other people's times because I am an employee listed in this, or it could be contract or whatever, but I'm not management. I don't need to see other people's times. So every time I did one of those clicks, it changes you know, whether you're in the office or not, and it keeps track of any of the in-office time as being time tracked for working. And you can see there's a whole bunch of them here that are from other days. So if I had forgot to clock back in or something like that, this is where I would come to adjust my time. Like, oh, you know, I got back at I put in here that I got back at 2:10, but it was really um, you know, 2:15, or it says that I got back at 2:30, but I really got back at 2:20 and forgot to clock back in, or something like that. So you do have to be careful if you go in there and change that, and like that changed my time out of the office, to make sure that my time back into the office later checks out and everything. So this one that says it stopped at, it's hard to tell when I did them all within 1 minute of each other, so they're all at the same time, but you do need to make sure that you adjust the coordinating time as well. And you can sort these to show, you know, by which day they are, and that sort of thing. Next is the calendar view, and you'll notice in this view that there is a record day here for every day that there is. I think we filled this in with a full year to begin with. So looking at this, it does show other people's time off. Like this would show me that Cooper had requested these days off. So if he works in my department, then I would want to maybe not request the same days off that he has, depending on the different policies and that sort of thing. But if I want to request full days off, like I want those 2 days off or something, I click those 2 days and then select vacation. Again, we're probably going to rename this to time off, so it can be a little generic. Need these days off, and hit save, and then it'll show that I have requested those days. And say I only wanted half of this day, maybe not the whole day. So in this case, I'm going to go and pick full day, no. The start time, I always like to just click that to fill it in. So I get make sure I have the right format. And then say the stop time would actually be noon, or say 12:15. I'll be late getting back to town, should be in just past noon. Okay. And again, pick your name there. There you go. So I have my request there. And that gives you a good overview of that. Once it's approved, you know, obviously that'll switch to approved, and you can see what everybody else is doing on these days as well. Last but not least is going to the pay sheets. So when you come here and you're ready to approve your time for whichever time period you want to go into the corresponding pay period, I don't see one for what's current. You know, I'm missing here February 3rd through the 16th or anything. So then you would just create a new one, and it's going to be in the list there, and hit save. So that's really short and sweet. Then you scroll down and you see the times needing verified. All of these times I need to check and make sure that this is what really happened, and this is my you know, how my time in that time period actually went. And also make sure that you don't have times that don't belong in that time period. So you can select them in a batch and just pick everything that goes in there. I want 2, 3. I actually don't want 2, 2 in there. So I picked everything outside of there. And then you want to verify times. It will try to pick the correct pay period, and if it misses, then you just have to make sure you select the correct one, and hit save. Bam, times verified. And once I've made sure that all the times that fall into this pay period are actually verified, then you want to come up here and click all times verified. That shows that the whole thing is closed up and the employee can no longer make changes to it. They can see their verified times down here, but these are done, and then it moves on to management to review and pay. That's in a separate video. You'll get that from Cooper later.